So let's get going. First match, pretty short. I can actually run this kind of start to finish. Ezra Lennon, like a pretty good heavyweight against Bernardo Faria, 2016 Pan Championship. This match has its own kind of silliness because there's some weird guard pulling. So, okay, so we match up. We're going to do the head touch. Give me that sweet, sweet lapel action. You're going to see Bernardo try to pull, and the pull goes like hilariously wrong. Dot, 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 dot. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's this one. So, just slide back here. Okay, so why butterfly guard exists, just for like fun history lesson. Butterfly guard basically exists because smash passing was the thing you did back in the day. And people realized you can use butterfly hooks to not get smash passed. So we watch here, by hitting that double leg, Bernardo basically loads his hips over top of a butterfly hook. And to his credit, Ezra Lennon elevates immediately before Bernardo gets a chance to flatten his legs out and sprawl onto it. So he gets a good sweep off of this. But Bernardo is like a half guard master, so shit, he don't care. I don't want to focus too much on his half guard. He doesn't play it the same as Lucas Leite. What he does is he feeds the lapel underneath the leg, grabs it on the other side. Excuse me. And he does a lot of either stand-up sweeps, like Iranian lifts, or he does just like really simple single leg finishes. And Keith should be showing up in here. Okay. So he's going to
dusted your videos off.
Nah, he doesn't need to be on.
That's true.
Doesn't really add that much. I might start muting you guys anyways. Okay, so again, Bernardo does like literally 2 sweeps. So half guard, just like stands up. But notice where he's ended up. So he's straddling one leg. Other leg does not have a butterfly hook in right now. Now, ideally, with the over-under, you're going to be underhooking the leg, but you don't necessarily have to do that. What you can do is you can overwrap and put your shoulder into the shin and lock your fingers into the belt or to the pant leg, and you can still do the pass. Like, still works fine. So, Bernardo prefers to pass on this side. If you watch his battle tested over-under set, he passes on this side, like probably 9 out of 10 times. He very rarely goes the other side. So he gives up the straddle on this leg. He's now straddling the far leg here. Look where this arm is going. Right away, he's going to underhook that leg. So traditionally, I shouldn't say traditionally, like the defense or the correct defense is you need to put some kind of frame in between you and the over-under passer. So Ezra Lennon does the right thing here. But Bernardo just keeps his base so low. Yeah, gets swept off this because he drops his hips too low, and Ezra Lennon, John Wayne sweeps him over. That's fine. He's going to do the exact same sweep they did, a minute into the match. So this arm's going to pummel for an underhook. Yep, just stands up into dogfight, tips him over. Again, he comes around to this side. See this thing? So this shin is in between Ezra and Bernardo's shoulder. So that's how he's blocking him, or that's how he's creating space. So Bernardo can't just like smash him immediately. 1 second, I'm just gonna flip over to the meeting controls. Make sure that Keith is in. Yeah, Keith is in. Okay, never mind. So Bernardo's holding on to the hand grip. And now what he's trying to do here, it's actually like a really good example. Perfect camera work here. So his left arm is underhooking his far leg, right? And like this is the problem we get into with over-unders, is that this leg is basically in the first half of the triangle. This leg is not in the triangle, and this is the one you have to control to not get subbed right away, right? So you can't see it very well, but what Bernardo does is he just grabs a grip on the very, very bottom of the pants. You're going to see him just kind of punch it straight down. What he needs to do is he needs to get his hips over top of the knee. So like that is your goal. His set explains this really well. When you over under, kind of your progression is first you want to cover the foot You want to get your hip to the knee. Then you want to get your hip over top of the knee. Once you've done that, you want to walk your legs around this side to turn them so they look away from you. So he gets grip on the pant, right there, punches it straight down. He overwraps the leg, he covers the knee, he starts walking around this side. And in this case, he hits Jordan's knee bar. Yeah, let's let Calvin in. So has Jordan done this to you guys? Have you experienced this?
Yes.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
Mark does it to me too.
Yeah,
tries to do it.
Hell yeah, buddy. Yeah, so he's doing the correct thing for an over-under, right? So he's walking his hips around this side. And what you do, if you keep like your back angle towards them and you walk around this side, what you end up doing is you kind of turn them so they're looking away from you. Or like this hip that he's controlling ends up going to the ground. Ezra Lennon is like, I can't turn to that side's death. So he keeps looking towards Bernardo, which means that this leg grip allows him to straighten, and he just drops into the knee bath. Yeah, just like Papa Jordan teaches. There's another version of it called the banana something. It's like a 10th banana move. It has like a more aggressive hip rotation. I've hit in a couple of rolls. It's fun to play around with. Anyway, get out here. Bernardo gets Gabriel Arges. So this is absolute of hands the same year. So I think he actually beat Ezra Lennon like 20 minutes before this. It's worth knowing Gabriel Arges won medium heavy, I think, the next year. Either this year or the next year, he won medium heavy. So Arges is like super good. His whole thing was he would knee bar out of 50-50. So again, what does Bernardo do? Like, match starts, he throws himself into half guard. It's not even like a super dignified half guard. But what it gives him is it gives him right here. He covers the leg, the knee is coming out. So his next order of priorities, he needs to cover the knee. This arm already has a nice deep underhook on that leg. So Arges kind of wraps around here and tries to, what's the term I want? Tries to like outwardly extend his leg to build a frame and get someone off. That's not a great move. So your ability to externally rotate your hip is typically not that strong. And like anecdotally, you know this. If you're sitting cross-legged, you don't stand by just outwardly rotating your legs, right? Like anatomically, it doesn't work. It's sort of like a last-ditch defense if you're getting over under. So he's past the leg here. He shoves it back in so he can get better control. And see how he's just holding the bottom of the pants? And all he's doing is he's just straightening this leg. And he's just walking his way around so that he can get his hip over top of the knee. Arges posts to try to keep him from doing that. Yeah, participants. Who we got here? Okay, everyone's good. Nice deep underhook. And all he's doing is he's just driving his shoulder down. He's keeping himself nice and flat so he can't be swept. Hey, who's making that noise? Turn off your mic, whoever's making that noise. Okay. So a nice deep underhook. He goes to the pant grip, tries to work his way up to the belt. Belt is like by far the best grip. And then, now you see Arges go for Kimura. Don't worry about this Kimura. Like, I know when you first start playing around with over-unders, one of the things that you'll get a lot is people will snatch the Kimura grip and you'll be like, oh no, my arm's in danger. Your arm is 100% not in danger. And Keith, mute. I'm muting you, Keith. There we go. I'm the admin. I can mute people if I want. Yeah. So, yeah, he's got a Kimura grip on this side, and it feels really dangerous. Calm down. It's actually super not dangerous. The most dangerous thing is if he can free his legs and he can hot dog roll onto the other side and attack your back. From here, this is a really shady position to finish a Kimura. Oh, just to extend on that a little bit more. So if this leg came over to this side of Bernardo's face, and he then pushed Bernardo away, that is a much better way to finish Kimura. That would be panic inducing. But his legs are just trapped on the other side. Like, that grip's not going to do anything. So, legs are hooked. You see Bernardo is going to reset because he doesn't have the feet separated. He's going to extend that leg. He's going to walk it out one more time. Yeah, so he does this little hip switch on the over-under, which is really slick. Let's flip this to playback speed half. Okay, so watch what he does with this leg on the heel. Remember, we want the leg to be straight, ideally, to finish an over-under. Yeah, so he does that little motion. So he's like literally hamstring curling the leg back with the knee pit that's hooked on the foot. The other leg is driving his thigh into the front of the leg, and that's how he's getting the leg straight. It's also how you set up the knee bar. Nice. Go. Holds onto that panic grip, and now he stepped over the leg. So now he just consolidates into side control. It's worth knowing, Bernardo is a pretty big size advantage here. He's a super heavyweight, and Arjus at this point was a middleweight. So, size matters. You always say it doesn't, but it totally does. So he tries to consolidate his guard, does a nice little inversion. Doop to doop to doop. Bernardo's just staying nice and heavy on it, trying to beat this leg. I think Arjus is going to slip that in right away. Yeah, the sprawl's a great way to deal with inversions. Because unless he fully back rolls to present his back to you, you can get off the legs. No, no. I don't want to use Asana.
What are you watching? What's your browser?
This is Firefox.
Chrome has a nice ad block function.
Firefox does too. I just haven't installed it because I got a new laptop a while ago.
Okay.
Oh, look at that crossface. Oh my God. Yeah, I've 100% done this to you guys. So when someone's turned towards you, and they're trying to turtle or they're trying to recover guard, if you want them to look away, grab that collar, you crank, baby, crank. So he gets the collar grip, uses his forearm as a lever, and just crossfaces the shit out of Arjus right there. Now he's going to prop the hips up, so he has a nice little step over to the mount. And Arjus is pretty screwed at this point. Bernardo's a big guy. He's got a really good finishing rate. I think he actually gets out of this, if I remember this match correctly. Yeah, so he's got this overwrap on the head, which sets up an arm triangle if you so choose. But he manages to escape his hips and throw Bernardo into most of the way to a closed guard. Gets his knee shield in to establish space. Okay, and now we are right back into Bernardo attacking the over-under. Okay, so see the grip situation here. Arjus has this frame in place again, which is not a very good frame. Bernardo's grabbed onto the hand grip again. And remember the order of priorities here. He wants to cover the foot, then he wants to straighten the leg and get his hips over top of the knee. That's like the order of operations to do an over-under pass. So right now he's using the crook of his elbow and just kind of grabbing onto the pants to keep this leg from coming out. Yeah, and he actually sneaks a grip up with the other hand. So he can then switch it, get the foot between his legs. Also, look at his feet. So ideally you want to be heavy when you do this. So he's up on his toes. He's got his butt nice and high in the air. He's bringing his weight downwards into Arjus. But he's not coming straight down. See this lift in his back? He actually shoves him along the mat as he's doing this pass. Because you need to provide enough force that they roll off of the bottom of their hips and onto their shoulders. You need to have their butt coming off the mat. So that's what gives you, how do I describe this? If you want a pant grip to double under and lift them, that's what you do to fold them in half. Whereas we've probably all done this with a double under pass. If you don't lift their butts off the mat, you have to go around the corner. It's not as effective, first of all. And second, it gives the other guy better re-guarding options. Whereas if you lift someone up, get their lower body off the mat, and then fold them in two, no one re-guards off that except for the Meow Brothers. So, pant grip, covers the foot. Nice deep underhook in the other leg. He kind of got shoved away there. He's going to come right back up on his toes. He's going to put this shoulder into his gut. He's going to cover the knee with his thigh. What does he do? He sprawls out on that leg, looks at the knee bar again, right there. Another win for Bernardo. Okay, so Bernardo against Leandro Lo. So this was the year before at IBJJF Worlds, and this was, yeah, I forget which round absolute this was. So just for some context on this, Leandro Lo wasn't always like a passing guy. When he was still a lightweight and a featherweight, Leandro Lo was seen as like a predominantly a guard player. So at this time in his career, he was still known as like a Spider Delahiba kind of a guy. He had a really good guard, and people were like, "Oh man, how are you going to pass Lo?" Apparently, the way you pass him is you just over under him, like literally everyone else. So there's Leandro Lo's dance. You want to party? Yeah, he wants to party. It's like the worst takedown in the world. Just shoot a terrible single from halfway across the mat. Also, I should add that I find Leandro Lo like super irritating to watch sometimes. He's the king of like he'll score and then he strategically retreats to kill 5 minutes. Okay, so Bernardo wants the over under, right? We know that's his move. Doesn't have it. So right now he's got double unders. So one of the things that's really important with the single under, the over under, and the double under pass is understanding how you can chain in between them. Ryan Hall's guard passing DVD actually has a really good section on this, as does his deep half DVD. Next, remember the goal here is he wants to pick Lo's hips up the mat. There we go. So he picks him up, Lo sprawls his legs out, throws him up one more time. So see that pant grip. Oh, Lord, that's a good pant grip. So he lifts right there. So he switches his grip off of the pants or off the belt right into the back of the pants. Now he's going to pick him up right on top of his dang head. Okay? So at this point, Lo's flexibility doesn't really matter that much because like he's upside down at this point. He's upside down. He's not looking at Bernardo. So he tries to walk around. He's still keeping this frame on the inside to keep this leg from coming inside to be an effective guard. And what's he try to do? He tries to just step over the foot right away. So now this arm is kind of underhooking, but he's holding on to these double under grips to keep Lo rolled onto his back. What he wants to do at this point, because it's Bernardo and we know him, he wants to step over one of these legs. He's not super married to either one. Lo does the right thing. So he gets these bicep rides in place to try to establish some distance, but Bernardo just keeps lifting him and does the step over. So Lo actually gets a nice little sweep there because he transitions to one leg X really smoothly. But he's not in a position where he's in much of a threat to hit the guard pass off the stand. So when he comes up, he has to throw himself into Faria's half guard. Ref pauses, bring it back to center. Okay. Go. So Faria's already on the underhook. He's already in his half guard. He's got a chance to stand up and just dump him because he's huge. And Lo is pretty small at this point. What's the first thing he does? He covers the leg, he gets that pant grip, shoves it between his legs. See how he's got this frame in place, or Lo has this frame in place? It's the exact same frame Arjus was using. And like it'll slow Faria down, but it's not a great frame to actually stop him from hitting the pass. What Lo really needs to do is he needs to get this shin into Faria's shoulder. It's called a bicep ride position. So he covers the foot, he walks around, keeps shoving the foot in between his legs. Again, he's up on his toes this whole time. He's trying to cover the knee with his hip. So he loses the foot, he holds onto the grip, covers the foot again. So now he's come up to the knee, loses it at this point. Keeps the undergrip on the other side, and that's how he's keeping Lo from getting the stand up and running away. And then again, what's he do? Pant grip, covers the foot. One of the nice things about double unders and over unders is that you can't stand up to run away from them. Whereas like leg drags, if you're confident in your wrestling and you aren't worried about body locks, if someone leg drags you, you can just turn and run to your feet and try to get away that way. Let's watch this one more time. Yeah, so he's getting his shin in. That's more effective frame. And Faria just beast modes and flips him around to the other side. And low inverts pretty smartly, try to get away. But at this point, he's in like a rugby pass. He's pretty far behind the game. He gets double-legged as he tries to come back up to his feet. Yeah, so again, what does Faria do? He gets this grip on the pant leg. He's going to cover the foot. So remember how I mentioned that ideally you want to have a deep underhook on the leg going all the way to the hip. You don't need it. If the shin is in the way and you can still attach yourself onto the pants, that's another way you can do the over-under. That works just fine. I don't know if you've ever like tried this, but if you just go sit on the floor and like in a seiza or like a crouching position, if you're like sitting on your shins, you can't just extend your shins away, right? When your quad's fully extended, that's when it's the weakest. So what Faria is trying to do on this side is he's trying to jam the foot into Lowe's hamstring or right into Lowe's butt, because that's going to limit his ability to push away effectively. So it covers the foot. Yep, jams this heel right into the butt. Gets this nice deep hook all the way up into the shoulder. And he rolls low all the way over. He keeps holding on to that pant grip the whole time. So now he's past the legs. He's still keeping the shoulder pressure down. He's still training his hips away. He's still walking away. And remember the rules of passing. As long as you can get into the space between their knee and their hip, you're past the guard. So now he's in the space between the knee and the hip. He's got the sweet, sweet pass points. And Lowe is probably super bagged at this point because he's had 220 pounds of angry Faria trying to smash him for how long are we into this? Last 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, right now, like, Lowe's tired. Faria's tying his belt as fast as he possibly can. He's like, come on, buddy, let's get this going. I got my points. He's tired. Let's do this. So one thing to note on his crossface, like not really what we're talking about right now, but so see how he's not. Let's go back to that grip. I'm trying to think how to describe this. So he's just holding the shoulder. We always say like do this. You don't actually have to do that. The important part is that you have something to anchor your hand onto, and then you can roll your shoulder into it. So he's getting a grip on the gi and using that to drive his shoulder in. That's how you can generate really good shoulder pressure. And especially his spine coming up, so he's driving downwards. It's going to help a ton. So he turns over to a north-south. I believe he finishes it, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I just love watching Faria work, man. Like, his game is so simple, and it works so well. So he walks to north-south. He turns the leg. So he pins this leg so it can't really effectively come into regard. And he's just going to step over. And Lowe knows it's coming. He's doing his best to not give up the step over. So Faria just walks back to north-south. Grabs a Kimura grip, which is Jordan's preferred Kimura setup, which I don't know if you've had him do that to you. It sucks. Doesn't have the Kimura available, so he covers the face, throws the leg in, and we are off to Armbar City. And there you go. Faria wins. Oh, is that one? Okay, so this works no-gi as well. Your arm position is going to be a little bit different because you don't have the pant grip anymore. So flip over to this. No, I don't want ads, Monday.com. Okay, skip ads. 20 seconds into the match, he's already got the over-under. Okay, so this match literally, we're starting with Bernardo with the over-under, which saves me a lot of time. Oh, I can't see his hands super effectively. Okay, we're going to go back. I'm going to have to do a little freeze frame here. Okay, so panic grip's not available, right? You're still trying to accomplish the same thing. So you're trying to cover the foot, you're trying to get your knee over top, you're trying to cover the knee, straighten out the leg, right? Those your 3 steps. So his grip is a little bit different with this arm. So instead of grabbing onto the pants, what he's doing instead is right now he's kind of overwrapping the thigh. But otherwise, it's all the same rules, right? He's still kind of looking away. He's still driving his shoulder down. He's still trying to cover the leg. Guy like scrambles away because he doesn't have grips to hold him in place. See this foot? He's still covering the foot. He actually repositions it there, so you get a better grip. There's a really good shot. So this arm is once again underhooking the thigh, going nice and deep. Instead of grabbing onto the pant leg, he's now got this kind of overwrap on the leg he's passing. Exact same defense being used here.
Does anyone have a good defense for it, or is it as soon as someone throws that defense in, is it just he's getting past?
Against Bernardo Faria?
Yeah, well, yeah.
No. Again, he won worlds like 3 times doing this. If you watch his rolls with Marcelo, they're up on YouTube. Marcelo is able to frustrate him because he never really lets him get to the over-under position. Because Marcelo is so good with butterfly hooks, right? Yeah. So the first step is you cover the foot. Every time Bernardo covers the foot against Marcelo, he just gets driven away or he gets lifted. So like, what do you do in that case? You have to switch to a different pass. You have to roll Marcelo onto his neck, which is really hard because he doesn't play off of his back. Other guy who's got really good defense to it is Michael Lange. So he's actually the guy who gave Gum Gum his black belt. Lange is one of the best spider guard players ever. And the thing with Lange is like, so see how the knees are kind of lined up here? And the reason why this has to come in is because he can't, how do I say this? He can't turn his foot so that his knees both point outwards. So Lange has really flexible hips. So as soon as you start to over under him or try to double under him, he just like does the splits. And like, what do you do at that point? Right? He can do the splits and also have his hips rolled over top of his head, and he's pretty comfortable. So he's mostly relying on flexibility and attributes at that point. The other thing Lange was really good at is, remember how I mentioned that Lowe wanted to get his shin into this space? It's called a bicep ride. Michael Lange is like the best in the world at doing that. When you look at his run through like when he won worlds, everyone tries to help under Lange, and he just threw his shins in and established like distance control almost immediately. Just crazy good spider guard. Yeah, so he's got this nice overwrap, drops down the leg. Get out of here, buddy. Get out of here. Yeah, and he's just inching his butt around that corner. And at this point, there's not a lot you can do to stop it, especially once he's gotten off the leg. If you start to shrimp away to establish a guard again, he just regrips the leg and he goes 1 step back in the process. Right there. So he doesn't have the pass available, so he goes 1 step back in the process. He covers the knee. This is something Bernardo does a lot on his DVD. You can watch him do this sequence in like forward and back. So he covers the foot, then he covers the knee, then he gets his shoulder down, then he walks him over, and then he finishes the pass. And if at any point you do something that doesn't let him do that, like the step he's on, he just goes back a step. So like he's trying to cover the knee, you shrimp well, he goes back to covering the foot, and he just works his way right back up. He'll burn like 5 minutes on passing the guy. It's so cool to watch. Yeah, so again, covers the foot, he's grabbed onto the knee, he's trying to shove the knee between his legs. Okay, so he goes back covering the foot, he covers the knee now, straightens the leg, doesn't have the knee anymore, so he comes right back up to cover the knee. Yeah, and you can see the guy on the bottom is just like, oh my God, what is happening? The knee starts to come out, he keeps his overwrap. You might see his hand come out and go to the knee and push it right back down. But right now, he makes sure he's covering the foot. Yeah, overwraps there. Now he tries to cover the knee. And he just keeps walking up this progression until he gets his pass. Yes, the leg comes free there. So now Bernardo's going to inch his way around that hip. Nope, recovers because it feels like the guy's going to shrimp away. And he just holds himself in that over-under pass. I should mention that it's not just giant people that can do this pass. There's a guy named Leo Sagioro, who's actually in Montreal now. And Sagioro is a featherweight, and he rolls exactly like Bernardo. Like, you can put videos of them side by side, and you'd swear it's the same person, except the one guy's like 5'6". He passes the same, he sweeps the same out of half guard. Like, it's the exact same game, just itty bitty size. Yeah, so overwraps the leg, covers this to make sure it's not going to get away. Keeps himself nice and heavy, so the hips can't really move effectively. High steps around the leg, doesn't get it, comes back, covers the leg. We are now 2.5 minutes into this, and all Bernardo has done is a single over-under pass. James used to talk about this idea of cooking people. So, like, you don't have to hit guard passes fast. It's totally acceptable to get into a guard pass and take 2 minutes to do it, especially if it's a pressure pass, because the guy's life is just going to suck by the end of it. And that's a totally valid strategy. You make the guy burn himself out defending a single guard pass. Yeah, so Bernardo briefly overwraps both legs, starts to lose it, and what does he go right back to? He underhooks the leg, he covers the leg he's passing, covers the foot, goes right back into the over-under. Oh man, this match is actually like so much fun to watch if you want to watch over-unders. Because Bernardo just does nonstop over-unders to this poor soul. Yeah, and now he's past the guard. So he high steps after the leg's been straightened, and he walks around to side control. And this poor guy's been defending a pressure pass for 3.5 minutes. So, like, no one's going to be fresh at the end of that. Yeah, so like even later in the match, the guy like shrimps out and reestablishes guard, and Bernardo gets back into the exact same position, right? Okay, this is the piece I want to show you guys. So remember how I kept saying the throwing the leg over top is a shitty defense? This guy does the right thing. So he shrimps, he puts something in between him and Bernardo, so he gets his shin in the place to establish some distance. He does the hat. Okay, this is way easier with the gi, because you have spider grips available. But this is kind of your best way to stop an over-under pass, and even a double under pass. Get your foot into the shoulder so you can actually control distance with an effective tool. Fortunately for this guy, it slips off like right away, and he has to walk back to the less good defense, and he gets over-under passed again. Let's watch how Bernard finishes this. This is just poetry in motion. So he gets his grips, covers everything. So see how vertical he is here? So like he's dropping a ton of weight. He's up on his toes. You can see his heel there. He's dropping this shoulder straight down to this guy's gut. And when he finishes, he turns his back towards him. There. So see how he turns his hips? It feels kind of counterintuitive because you want to like turn your hips to look at the guy to come around this corner. It's actually much safer to look away and walk your hips around that way. If you turn towards them, you open up a space that the leg can come back into. Whereas if you turn your back towards them, your body acts as a backstop, I guess. So the knee can't come back into the space and reestablish a guard. So Bernard turns away. Guy goes really hard the other way, thinking that's going to be what saves him. And he just steps over to the other side because he's all the way past the hips. Look at that shrimping. So they get reset to the feet, and $5 says Bernard's going to pull half guard and sweep him. Or this guy might pull guard and get over-under passed again. Also, at this point, Bernardo's up by like a lot of points. Yeah, so he tries to a flying guard pull. Look what Bernardo does right away. Covers the foot, covers the knee, underhooks. Does the exact same thing that he's been doing for the last 7 minutes. Yeah, comes up on his toes, drives his shoulder down, gets nice and heavy. tries to reestablish the leg because he doesn't feel comfortable with it and says, screw it, I'll just go to side. He's past the guard, locks onto the body, consolidates his pass. Yeah, I think the rest of this match is just Bernardo in side control. Yeah, it's just the rest of this is just him in side control, just crushing the poor guy. Oh, he establishes a guard here. $5 says I know what Bernardo's counter is going to be. Yeah, so he's got kind of like a weird close guard here, but time is almost out. He doesn't have any effective levers to strip an arm away. He's good. Move this over here. Yeah. So there's like an over-under clinic. If you ever want to watch again, it's Bernardo Faria against Max Carvalho. All right, so this one's interesting for a different reason entirely. This is another pretty short match. So Nogi Worlds. I'm not familiar with Tarcisio Jardim. But he does something that everyone else has not done when Faria has been over-undering them, and it doesn't pay off. And I want to highlight why you don't want to do that against an over-under. So they square off. Hey, bro, you want to go? I want to go. They look for grips, and there's going to be a guard pull. Dun, 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 dun. Fix the slide through. Bernardo goes for a double leg. So also, I didn't mention this off the start. You can see it more in the Nogi. Bernardo Faria actually has surprisingly good wrestling. So when he comes up on single legs, he finishes them a lot. He chains into double legs really well. And he actually hits a surprising number of takedowns from his feet. So I can't wrestle worth shit, so I'm very jealous of this. But yeah, Bernardo's actually like got some pretty good chain wrestling. Come on, do the thing I want you to do, Bernardo. Okay, we're skipping ahead. If you ever want to pull half guard, this is how you do it. So it's hard to like yank people over top of you to give you a half guard. So what he does is he attacks a takedown. That's like not a great takedown to make the guy sprawl. Then he attaches himself onto the half guard. Again, he has a nice deep underhook initially. He kind of switches to a weird wrist grip there. Guy just stands up and wants nothing to do with it. Yeah, so Bernardo again comes in the single. Turns the corner. Okay, so here we are. This is what the guy does. So every single over-under we've seen so far, the guy's turned to his side and he's looking at Bernardo, right? So he's like, the threat's on this side, I'm going to deal with it on this side. Why would you not turn away and do like a gooseneck and do a sit-up escape like Marcelo Garcia does? This is why. So Bernardo gets in on, he gets the dump. If he had turned into him, Bernardo would have just done the over-under, right? Instead, he turns away. And he's going to try to scramble to his feet and run away. But remember, this arm was going to go to the leg, and now it's free. So it's not busy with overwrapping the thigh anymore. So it goes to the waist as he turns away. So watch how this plays out. So you can effectively stand up, right? Because Bernardo's holding onto your hips and dragging you right back down. So he's trying to get to his feet, but he's already lost the corner. So the reason why you don't look away from an over-under pass is because you give up your back. Which is why Bernardo jumps onto his back so quickly. I'm pretty sure he actually finishes the match with an RNC. Yeah, it's just like back control from here on out. Ugh. Just, yeah. Oh, terrible place to be. So that's all I want to show you from Bernardo Faria. But if you ever want to look up his like tiny doppelganger to get more examples of over-under passing in action, this is the guy you want to look up, Leonardo Saggioro. Where's his match with Gianni Grippo? He messes up Gianni from that. I can't find it quickly. Yeah, he lost this match. I was rooting for him pretty hard. I was very disappointed. Oh, there it is. So, different guy, exact same passing style. Another good person to look at if you want to see this over-under, double-under stuff is Murilo Santana, who's the head coach of Unity Jiu-Jitsu. But it's like this guy right here in this gi, red belt. That's Leo Sagioro. He's like Bernardo Faria, except half as large. So he's against Gianni Grippo, who's one of the better De La Riva open guard Berimbolo players in the world today. So Gianni pulls guard. What's the first thing Sagioro does? Goes to the over-under. Gianni throws this shin in place. So that's going to be his main defense. Sagioro pant grips, lifts him up, and he gets thrown right back into the De La Riva. Yes, this underhook De La Riva is interesting for other reasons I'll probably cover later. It's a position I'm going to try to use a lot more because I haven't really used it a lot. Anyways, Sagioro high steps out of that De La Riva situation, and my video goes nuts. Ends up right back to De La Riva. There we go. So this is what he does. Punches underneath, so you can get an underhook on the De La Riva leg. It's a good way to strip out the De La Riva hook as well. There's another pass there. It's called the lazy dog pass. I'll show you sometime. So he covers the foot, right? He's got an underhook on the far leg. So now he needs to cover the knee. That's his fight now. He grabs onto the pants, just like before. Grippo knows the game. Effectively grip breaks. I think they kind of chill out here for a bit. If I remember correctly, Sagioro actually wins this one on a rest decision. So he never gets a clean pass. Gianni never gets a good sweep either. De La Riva, Yeah, Gianni's got like a dirty good guard. You see here he's fed a lapel to inhibit his ability to backstep out. Kind of holds the leg in place, so now he can't bring this leg back either. But again, we aren't talking guard stuff. I'm trying to not just talk about guard play every time I do one of these. If I believe Gianni holds that grip for most of the match. Now he gives it up there. But again, underhook, right? Because he wants to hold the pants, because he wants to elevate the hips. Gianni goes right back to that same weird lapel grip, which looks frustrating as hell to deal with. Still has lapel grip. Here we go. This is what I want. So, remember, he's a tiny Bernardo Faria clone, right? So he covers the leg, underhooks. He gets a good grip on the gi. Now he kind of turns his hips over and tries to walk around. He switches to the pant grip there. He still has an underhook on the far side, and Gianni has to go to the last defense. He's still holding on to this pant grip, so now he has an option to switch to a double under. He tries to step over again, he has to go for the double under. That's like a totally valid option over unders, by the way. Is if a leg you're covering comes out, your hand is usually in a position that you can switch to a double under pass. What's Sagioro trying to do with the double unders? He's trying to lift the hips and force the knees over to his head. Gianni keeps the hips really heavy, which means his legs have to come to the ground. So you see Sagioro try to step over this leg. Then he's trying to re-enter the over-under. So those two passes chain together really well. Pretty typically how I attack over-unders now is I screw up a double under because I'm not that good at it, and the over-under is my escape valve. Again, nice deep underhook, covers the leg, he looks away and drives his shoulder down. In this case, Gianni's trying to come up so hard he actually gets himself picked up. He goes back to the double under, flips him onto his neck. Looks to the ref. I did something. And yeah, he actually gets the ref decision on this. Okay, so. Stop share, I think is stop. Yeah. Let's turn back into it. Any questions?
No. Pretty well explained, actually.
It's mechanically not that hard of a pass, right? It's one of those things where like it's pretty simple And the irritating thing about simple moves is that they're very hard to do well.
Yeah,
I know it in. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say it. It's amazing how, like you said, you've got those 3 steps, and you get blocked at step 3. You go back to step 1, and it's crazy how you can just be so utterly persistent on it and still get it.
Yeah, he's really impressive for that. Again, not to keep plugging a DVD that I already bought, but his battle tested pressure passing set, I think is the name of it. Like the last DVD is just half an hour of him showing the over under pass in live sparring with people he knows, and he just hits it over and over and over, and it's the exact same thing every time. Cover the foot, cover the knee, walk over to the other side, high step out. And like one of those steps fails, he just goes back to the step before.
Yeah, he walks the leg back to center when he's showing technique, actually, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the step over.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen in his matches, but I mean,
No, but
reality's messy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that knee bar. Another good guy to watch for that knee bar is Ollie Geddes. I'm a little bit unclear on it. I think Ollie Geddes might be the guy who invented it, or at least made it very popular inside Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His nickname for it was the dog bar, which is a play on the fact that it looks like you're humping the leg. It's like one of the best created names I've ever heard of for a move.
Yeah, because that hitting that knee, I find it very, very difficult.
Yeah, and like it makes them. If you attack that knee, the defense is to bend your leg. Bending your leg makes doing the over under easier. I should mention at this point, one of the things I've done to Mark Slade, that in like recent memory, if you do the over under and you do it incorrectly, the guy you're passing can throw you into a crucifix pretty easily. So always remember, if you are passing on, let's say, your right side, so you are using your right arm to stuff the leg and you're underhooking with your left arm, your head needs to be on the side of the underhook. Like your head needs to be on the side of the underhook. If your face gets pushed over to the other side, which is like the proper defense, you need to drive your face right back over. Like you cannot do the move if your head's on the wrong side. And if your head's on the wrong side, you get put into a crucifix. So that's like detail number 1. So when you're doing the over-under, make sure your head's going across their body. And all those passes Bernardo hits, if you go back and watch them now, you'll see his head's across the body.
Okay, thanks.
Who did that?
Sorry.
All right, so if no one else has any questions, I guess we'll just call it there. Sound good?
Awesome sauce. Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
No problem, guys. I think this is going to be a weekly thing for a bit.
Thanks, Brad. Bye.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Awesome.